I guess I gotta turn on the microphone if I want y'all to hear me. I guess that will have to work that way, huh? Just a slight little technical difficulties. Good morning, happy Friday. How are all you beautiful, beautiful people doing this morning? I am Jewel Williams. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time, welcome. If you like what you hear, subscribe, like, share. I all that's free and I appreciate it. So thank you. Today, today is going to be a little technical. It's like, should I say technical? I don't know if I'm technical here. I'm going to make an adjustment here. Yeah, that's much better. Okay. Sometimes too much light is too much light. So I had to make an adjustment on my lighting. Um, but no, today I wanted to get a little deeper into some things that were brought up yesterday from conversations. So, um, as you all know, I've been talking about transformation, making new changes in my life, and all those wonderful, wonderful things. And I feel like my sound needs to be adjusted. I don't know why. Apologize for all these technical difficulties. Okay, that's a little bit better. I don't want to peak or anything, but I also don't want to be screaming. So anyway, and I need to watch my time. As you all know, I work a full-time job, so I want to keep this short, sweet, and to the point. Okay, so yesterday, as you all know, I have joined a group, Activation Nation, and we talked about a number of things and getting me to continue this process of transformation and coming out. Well, Melissa White did a LinkedIn live, and I got a chance to watch it, and she talked about workplace trauma. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with you. Full transparency. I had never really heard, quote unquote, the term workplace trauma. And I was enlightened to a lot of information. So I Googled or did a YouTube search and I watched another video, my woman, Patricia, and she talked about it. She did an interview with another woman and my name. So, matter of fact, instead of just telling you about it, I hate when I do that. I'm just going to look it up because I really like going off of a reference. It helps me. It should be in my history. It should be one of the last things. Yeah, there it is. So her name is Patricia Washington, healing from workplace trauma, and she did a interview with Minda Harts, is who she did her interview with, and Minda wrote a book. And so, and then of course the other one I watched was How to Heal from Workplace Trauma with Melissa D. White. And you can find both of those ladies on YouTube. I'll put a link to these videos in this video. So if you want to watch them, I encourage you to. They're enlightening. So what I wanted to come on here and talk about real quick was some revelations I had that I had not healed from my workplace trauma that I have experienced over the years. And being in the workplace since I was my first job where I got a check. I consider a paper route a job. But I would say my first job where I actually went into a building and was there for a number of hours and had a schedule and all that kind of stuff. I was about 15, I think it was. And I did not realize that have not healed at all from my workplace trauma. Okay. And I'm just going to touch on my workplace trauma because as I started to do more research, you can go down the rabbit hole quite quick. So anyway, as I was listening, it reminded me of a book, and I don't know if you guys can see this. This is the book. I'm not paid to promote this book. I don't even know this person, but I've had this book for years. Okay. And I bought the book because I wanted to understand some of the feelings that kept coming up. You know that time when you start something new, start a new relationship, start a new job, start a new project, whatever the case may be, something starts new. But as you start this newness, after a while, you start to come across similar feelings. You're trying to figure like, why? I thought I dealt with this feeling, or why am I having this feeling again? Why am I having this conversation again with myself or with someone? You start to go through deja vu, or I like to think of it as Groundhog Day, when, waking up and it's like, again. So anyway, watching these videos got me to thinking about how I have not healed from my own trauma, and what that has done over my lifetime, over my body, my mind, my spirit. Okay. And the exhaustion I feel because of it. Okay. So this is not about pointing blame and accusing people, because people do what people know. That's the bottom line. People do what they know. If they don't know any better, they can't do any better. That's the truth. And I discovered that concept taking one of my classes, and it relates around there are things we know. There are things we know. There are things we don't know, but are just, they're there. We haven't discovered them yet. And then there are things that are just unknown to us, but that doesn't mean that they're non-existent. That just means they're unknown to us. And when I came across that, and I probably messed that up, but you get the concept. If you don't know, you don't know. That's it. You can't get mad at people for not knowing how to do better. And if they are doing what they know how to do, well, again, that you at some point, we all have to take responsibility for us. That's how I see it. And that was one of the reasons why I got this book, because I wanted to take responsibility for myself. So moving forward, I got to thinking, as I was listening to them, I got to thinking about energy. And I don't know if any of you have ever heard or watched the movie What the Bleep. It's a very good movie. And I watched that movie years ago, but it talks about neurological stuff. It's pretty deep, and you probably have to watch it a few times to really get it, because you can go down this rabbit hole. But I thought about the saying that matter cannot be created or destroyed. Same thing, energy, the law of conservation, cannot be created or destroyed. So I got to thinking about that when I was watching this healing from workplace trauma. Because I've also read that thoughts are energy. Matter of fact, I looked up an article, What Are Thoughts? And Psychology Today had an article, and I'm just going to read the highlight, but it said basically thoughts are energy signals. The energy transmitting a thought therefore has mass. The ions and molecules encoding the energetic signal have mass too. And in summary, I'm going to just read this real quick because I don't want to butcher it, but it says thoughts are not ethereal, meaning they're not this beautiful and, whatever thing. They are representations of matter and are encoded in matter. They have shape and weight. Abstract ideas are analogically built from one concrete sensory representations. The sense of self is built from self-representations. Thoughts are forms of information, and all information is physical and relational. It feels like something to have a thought and to be a self because we are that information. Recursively reflecting on itself in an infinite regress. Now, it was a little deep, I know. Yet, it brings up a point that what I produce here, obviously we manifest it out, that's it, our thoughts become manifestations. We say, I am going to purchase a new hat. Okay, that was our original thought. Then that means we manifest that out. How does that manifest out? Through action. Okay, so that thought transforms itself into an action. That action comes out as a purchased hat. Of course, the steps that went through. So that thought now is hat. Hat becomes a part of self through pictures. So anyway, and thinking about all that, it then took me further, and I started just going back through time and thinking about all the moments that stuck out to me where I felt that I experienced workplace trauma. And I realized as I was thinking that those moments that continue to stay frozen in my mind, like, I go through a number of things a day, but then, there's those certain things that just, no matter what, no matter how long in life we've lived, wow, we still remember it like it was yesterday. And that's where I believe that is the captured trauma that is held within our mindset. I'm not sure why we hold on to it, but I know I've held on to a lot. I've got a lot of thoughts of captured trauma in the workplace. I would say my biggest traumatic workplace trauma was in the military. And the military is designed to reconstruct your patterns of behavior and thinking. Because when you join the military to defend the country you live in, defend the country and protect its rights, protect its borders. And so they have to train you to think the way they need you to think and act and behave the way they need you to behave. So they have to recondition you to from what you started, from what you how you developed at home. They just have to completely crush that. And what they do is they put you through trauma. Now, I've heard there's been some changes with that. I've not talked to anybody who's been through basic, because at one time I heard like there were cards people could flash if they were stressed and stuff. I know it's a totally different army than the army that I went through, because the army I went through, I experienced a lot of trauma. Okay. I experienced, those movies where you see people, I can't think of a movie right now. I see it, but it's the one with Demi Moore in it, and she wants to be a Navy SEAL, I think it is. Officer and a Gentleman. That's another good one. But or Louis Gossett Jr. and I can't think of his name, the gigolo guy. Anyway, he's in his face, right there. You guys know it, right? He's right here, and he's just yelling at him. Bah, 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 bah. Those things happened. Those things do happen. Those are not just movies, okay? I have experienced a person being in my face, screaming at me, telling me I wasn't worth it. And that is workplace trauma. Because despite what you tell yourself, your subconscious mind has received a signal. And that signal travels, and you've got matter, energy, pulled from here. He transferred his energy, boom. He transferred it, boom, to me. So that began workplace trauma. So internalizing that, now I leave basic training. I go into regular workforce, and I continue to experience bouts of workplace trauma. Though that I didn't have anybody screaming in my face all the time, I experienced what I now know as passive aggressive harassment and bullying. Sometimes it wasn't passive aggressive. Sometimes it was just direct. Okay. And I constantly question, why? What have I done to deserve this? What did I do to this person or this person? Why is it that they feel that they need to shackle me into a chair and scream at me in order for me to be obedient? Especially if I'm following through and I'm doing as I'm told. Okay, those were the things that I could not understand until recently. So fast forward a little bit. I'm going to bounce back and forth, but fast forward a little bit. I am now taking a class on branding, and it's a part of my communications degree. So in taking the class, we took 2 tests. One was a 16 personalities test. Another one was High5 Test. And those 2 tests were about helping us understand who we were. So I am considered an INTJ, I think it is. Hold on. I got to get it right because it's going to make sense. I promise. But anyway, while I look for that, here, let me do this. Here we go. I tell you, the things when your mind keeps going, whoop, 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 whoop. I'm an INTJ. Okay, I did have it right. The architect. Yes. INTJ-A, the architect. So, and I was reading about workplace habits. And as I was reading through these workplace habits about who my personality type, I thought, I felt like they had been living in my head for the last 50 something years. And so, they got me down pat. Okay. That is so me. And of course, these tests, if you guys want to explore these things, it's 16personalities.com. I'll leave a link in the description if that's something you want to explore just to see where you're at. It's free to take. If you want the extended version profile, you do have to pay a little extra money, but they'll give you the general gist and stuff. I paid a little extra because I wanted to get more information. So anyway, that I stands for introvert. The N stands for I'm not sure. You guys are gonna have to look it up because I don't want to get off track too much and I don't want to take too much of your time. So, but anyway, check that out. So when I took this test, it began to just kind of put some pieces together. I also took the DISC test, DISC, and I took that one for my leadership class, and it didn't surprise me that I was a D, a dominant personality type. That so in thinking about all that and melting that all down, I go back in my mind and I begin to realize that other people saw those personality pieces of me. They may not have realized it, but they saw it. Okay. And when and in seeing it, some people have had issues with it. I am a dominant female. First off, let's just talk about the fact of being a female in the workplace. Okay. Women have always struggled to find their footing and their placing in the workplace. That is no secret. They're still talking about it. Then you have the fact that I am a LGBT woman, a lesbian woman, who has been that way for a good part of my life. And so men pick up on that. And some men have a problem with that. Okay. Even before I was out open about my sexuality, I presented masculine because I always did the tomboy stuff. Hey, if they can climb that fence, so can I. If they can climb that tree, so can I. If they can throw that football, so can I. Okay, they can. If whatever they can do, I can do too. If God willing, I might not be as fast, I might not be as strong, but I felt that if they could do it, so could I. So I didn't see male, female, and a lot of people have a problem with that. And that's the reality of life. There are people that are going to have a problem with it, and some people will not. And that there's nothing I can change about that. But during that, I have experienced trauma because those individuals felt the need to express to me in a many ways their disliking of my personality, whether they got a taste of it from me displaying it or what have you. One thing I can say, my philosophy has always been, I will do unto others as they do unto me. I will match energy. I will match energy. Now I'll come in the door and I will present the best me. That was what was instilled in me from my parents. Present the best you. When you walk into the room, put a smile on your face, hold your head up, chest out, walk with pride. Don't look down at the ground. I still do it. It is what it is. Sometimes just because I don't want to trip over something. But those are the principles that were instilled in me. So these individuals who felt the need to squash that, okay, and I did not have enough information to understand what they were trying to even squash, because I didn't have the understanding of my personality types. I did not have an understanding of a DISC test. I didn't have all that. What I did know was that I was proud of myself. What I did know was that I was going to hold myself up high. So energy is the two of us are doing this. It's like magnets, okay? And each time I get trauma, I leave the workplace. I leave the environment because it becomes overwhelming to me. It is psychological stress, trauma, okay? I carry that to the next job and I begin again and the same thing happens, okay? Another incident, and I'll tell you, this is a common incident that has happened to me. In the military, when I was attempting to go to college, You have to go through a number of processes if you want to go to college. You just don't get to say, I'm going to go to college. You got to have people approve and sign off and say that they're willing to give you the time to go to school. Well, I had a sergeant who didn't like the fact that I was wanting to better myself. And he attempted to stop that. But yet my commanding officers told him, you signed off on it. You can't stop it. So there will be no more of her missing school. Simple as that. So my first encounter of somebody attempting to cease my success or hinder my success, block my success, however you want to phrase it. Okay. Me, workplace trauma. Now, I go into the civilian world. I start off in warehousing. And I started off as a temp, worked my way up, whatever. But at this time I'd been with this company. And I was like, hey, I want to move up. I want to do something. I want to be a better person. I started to read self-help books, Tony Robbinson's, Awaken the Giant. I felt awakened. I was like, yeah, I'm ready. So I encountered a warehouse manager, and I'm doing my best to make sure I don't say names, but I encountered a warehouse manager who definitely let me know he was not interested in me advancing. Okay? And would not support. Even after going to him and openly discussing, I'm motivated, I have a skill set, I want to explore other opportunities. So I had to be tricky because I'd already experienced a sergeant who attempted to block my success. So now I had a memory from a workplace trauma. I need to apply a different set of skills and be strategic. One of my personality types. I'm very strategic, very analytical as well. So I analyze the situation. I plan a strategy. And I made sure I follow the rules. I'm very, as you can see, as I was reading data, and that is me. That's how I handle my things. So anyway, I made sure I knew the rules and the process and the procedures, and I followed them. The way I had to trick this individual so that I could get an interview without him interfering. There was a job opening in another department. I had to trick him. I could not let him know because the first job interview I went on, he blatantly sabotaged it. So the rule was you must let your supervisor know before you leave and go to the interview. So 1 minute before I had to walk into that office to do an interview with another department manager, I let him know. And do you know, and this was verified to me when I did get the job, that he protested and tried to stop me from getting that job. And they said she's qualified, and he felt otherwise. So I move on. Again, workplace trauma. But I continue to experience these particular things. And I continue to gather, there's many stories. And it's usually with a white male, sergeant, white male, supervisor, white male, trainer on the truck who blatantly didn't attempt sexual harassment. It was sexual harassment. White male. So, yeah, I encounter them. Sometimes I get a little spicy. Yet I know not all of them are that way. So I don't treat all of them as though they are a villain. I wait and I give them the opportunity. But what's sitting in the back of my mind? Trauma. So trust, waiting. I say all this because Melissa opened up a dialogue within my head that no matter where I go, I'm going to experience some type of trauma. Yet, it's time to heal myself from that trauma. Because in order for me to move forward with doing what I want to do with my speaking and being in the public eye of YouTubes and social media, in order for me to carry forward, I must free my voice. I got to free it from the trauma. Because so many people in my lifetime have done their best to stifle my voice because they chose or feel or whatever it is, they don't want to hear it. And guess what? That has impacted me, and I kept doing this. Now I'm at a place and I'm trying to figure out, why can't I talk? Why don't I? I'm second guessing because all that right there was spilling into me. Okay. So I know this is a little bit long. I was hoping it would be a little bit shorter, but I had to launch that. I just get that out, launch it out of I felt like a launch. It felt like a rocket just, okay, off of me. And today I'm going to go to work, and I already know I'm going to experience some workplace trauma, but I'm better prepared for it. And I am learning to now release the baggage, the emotion, and rechannel that energy, because energy cannot be created or destroyed. So it has to be rechanneled into something else. Thus, this conversation, this video. All right. I thank you guys for listening, and I hope you have a fantastic Friday. It is the weekend. Be safe, be merry, and peace and love to you. I'm going to send you out with some music. Yeah, it's Friday. Talking to me now. Talking to me now. What? Boom, 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 boom.